When you're running Meta ads, you're paying for impressions. And when you're a local business, you need to make sure these impressions are coming from the right people. Meta does give you a lot of options when it comes to targeting, but specifically location targeting is the main important thing you want to get right. The thing is though, Meta throughout the years have changed a lot when it comes to the layout of the settings. A couple years before, you were able to choose specifically the people who are only living in your area. You can also choose if you want the people who are also traveling to the area or have been in the area recently. But now all these settings are mixed together, especially with the Advantage Plus targeting. But we want to make sure it's only in your local area as much as possible. Today I'm going to show you all the available settings that you can add to make sure that you're targeting only the people in your area and all the different methods that you can use on the Meta Ads Manager. So here I have an example lead campaign. This is a manual setup, nothing from the recommended. We're not going to be touching anything here. We're going to go straight into the ad set level. Because we're talking about locations today, we're going to go down to the locations section in audiences here. Right now it's Advantage Plus, and I already have a location pinned in Las Vegas. So let's say you're a residential flooring business in Las Vegas, and you can only work within a distance of 20 kilometers, which is about 12 miles. Now, if you look at the map, you can see there's different areas around Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas is a known area. You'll see a lot of people coming in and out of this area. So we have Pahrump, we also have here Boulder City, and all these different towns around the area. Now, we want to make sure they don't get the ads, because if they do, we'll be targeting people who are not in the local service area. This matters a lot because, again, you're paying for the impressions. And if you're reaching impressions and people who don't live in the local service area, you're just going to be wasting money on them for no reason. An extreme example I can give you is Paris, right? It has 2 million people. But if you look at the tourists and the travelers and all of them included, we're talking about 50 million people. 50 million compared to 2 million. It's a big difference. And if you're a local business in Paris and you start advertising and it reaches these 50 million people, you're going to get a lot of impressions. Yes, they're going to be low cost, but most of them are not even in the local area. They're not even residents. So you can't really serve them with your business. All right, back to this. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to apply a strategy successful marketers have been applying over the past year, which is called geofencing. With geofencing, what we'll basically be doing is all the locations, the towns, the small cities that we have around this area, this example specifically Las Vegas, will be excluded. So let's say someone lives in Pahrump, but they've been to Las Vegas and they went back. Now with this geofencing, they're less likely to see the ad because we've excluded that area specifically. I'm going to show you how that would look like. We're going to drop a pin on Pahrump, or you can search up the area. This is already far away from the area, but just to make sure to include even the in-betweens, I'm going to change this to maybe 50, 55 kilometers. Yeah, we want this to be almost touching. Even if it overlapped a bit, that was not an issue. So after we've chosen the location, we would just go here and click on exclude location. As you can see, now it's highlighted in red. All the people who are in Pahrump, who have been in Las Vegas, but they live in Pahrump, they're less likely to see the ads. Now we're going to be doing the same thing for the surrounding areas. This general area doesn't really have much, so we can keep it. Let's say you do have an issue with keeping this little block. You can just drop a small pin here. This is overlapping a lot, so maybe we can decrease it a bit. Let's see. Yeah, generally this section here is excluded now. Exclude location, same thing. We'll do Boulder City. It's a bit overlapping, no problem at all. We'll just exclude that location. As you can see, we're slowly removing all the surrounding areas that we don't want to advertise to the people who are living in these areas. This is a simple example for a local business in Las Vegas. In different locations, it could be different shape. The goal would be to just surround the area with the exclude the locations, so you're only targeting the local area of your business. The reason why Meta has changed the options from the original, like picking and choosing exactly if it's someone who lives in the area or not, is because of privacy issues. Over the last few years, with a lot of changes when it comes to the mobile data and the information that Meta can access, it has reduced the actual settings that it has when it comes to location. So over time, it has merged all these settings to keep it as broad as possible because of these privacy restrictions. Another quick setting we can talk about is this right here under the actual locations that we just pinned. Reach more people likely to respond to your ads. Now, I would keep this off in this context because if you look at the info right here, it shows that, let's say you're targeting a neighborhood. It will target the whole city around that neighborhood. And if you're targeting the city itself, it will target the region, and region, it will target the whole country. So obviously we don't want to do that, especially if we're a local business and we're trying to limit the targeting to the local area only. Now for the geofencing itself, obviously it's not going to be perfect, right? We're doing this manually. It's not like an official thing that Meta tells you to do, but it works really well. Just logically speaking, you're trying to exclude the people who are living outside of the local area. Now, let me be upfront with this. Geofencing is not perfect. The way you can actually know when to use geofencing or not is look at the total leads that you're getting. If more than 5% of the leads are outside of the local service and you can't really serve them, this is where you can look into something like geofencing. If you're sitting below 5% when it comes to that metric, you should be completely fine. You don't need to worry about this whole setup. Now, we talked about geofencing. Let's talk about another method that is applicable for all businesses, and they all should make sure that this is something that they're doing. This isn't something about the targeting setting. This is more about the ad copy. Now, I talked about this briefly in previous videos, but calling out to the local area is really important. And in this context, think about this. So let's say someone is visiting Las Vegas in this example. It could be someone from another country as well. And for some reason, they got the ad. If the ad itself doesn't specifically mention the local area, there's a chance that they might think this is actually an ad from the local area that they came from. Specifically calling out the location or the local area that you're at will definitely be so much more effective than all the other methods. And the best practices when it comes to applying this call out method is in the ad copy, the first headline or the first thing that they see when reading a copy or on the creative itself is the local area. But you also want to make sure it sounds natural. You don't want to be screening them. You want to kind of make it look like you're actually calling them out. An example on this I can give you, let's say, if you're a homeowner in Las Vegas, here's what most flooring contractors are not telling you. In this case, you kind of have like a curiosity hook, but it comes in naturally, right? You're calling out the specific people that you're talking to, and then you're continuing on from there. A good pair as well, you can mix it with a problem, like call out their main pain point. That works really well as well with the headlines of the ads and putting it on creatives as well. Or you can make just a very simple question thing like, Las Vegas, did you know? And then go on with the question from there. So with these two methods that we actually talked about today, the geofencing and the calling out, when do you actually use them? Generally speaking, you can use both, but if you want to know the actual indicators that you should look out for that tell you when you should be doing each method, logically speaking, for geofencing, it would be most beneficial for the areas who have a high traffic of tourists. So out of a get-go, if your location, like even Las Vegas, New York, Los Angeles, Harris, we're able to apply this geofencing method and immediately see results. I already told you about the 5% rule. That's another indicator. And another one is basically the opposite of the calling out. Let's say you applied the calling out method first, and you looked at the data, it's more than 5% still, but you don't want to add too much calling out so it doesn't feel forced. This is another indicator where you can now apply the geofencing if you haven't already. For the calling out method, as I said, it will work in all cases, but especially if, let's say, you're running a lot of ad sets, so you have a lot of budget to spend and you have different angles. So this method of calling out people work best. And if you want a zero cost, impactful setup that will change and improve your targeting, this is also the way to go. And I do have to say, because I know a lot of business owners who are watching this would be interested in this, if you want someone to look at your current setup and do a full audit around that, we actually offer a free strategy call to go over your current setup and see what kind of changes and where you might be burning your budget. The link for booking the call will be in the description. It should take about 30 seconds, very quick. And of course, if you found this video useful, hit the subscribe button. You'll see more of this content popping up. It will also help the channel, so it will be greatly appreciated. So again, Meta obviously gives you all these options so you can improve your advertising, but a lot of the times it breaks because advertisers are not aware of these little tweaks. And at the end of the day, Meta will give you the metrics that you're looking for, the standard, the least cost. But think about it. If you're getting a lot of impressions who are not your clients, this is technically cheap, but it's also not going to get you results. So you need to be aware of these kind of metrics. And unfortunately, we do see a lot of local businesses who are advertising, but are not aware of these kind of things. So they're also burning a lot of budget without even knowing. At the end of the day, to actually know when is the right time to do a change to your setup, the current setup, you need to be doing the tracking in the first place. Like for example, for the geofencing, as I said, if you're going to be following the 5% rule, you wouldn't even know that if you're not tracking the leads that are coming in, all these different metrics. One of the highest ROI things you can do for your local business is to start tracking if you're not already doing that. So you can see all these numbers and, plan and adjust from there. Other than that, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.